How Statutes Are Published for students in the Environmental Legal Research course at Boston College Law School. When laws are originally passed, they're published just as enacted as slip laws, which are simply individual copies of the law as it was enacted. These individual laws are arranged chronologically in collections called session laws. They are all the individual laws of a particular legislative session. Federal laws are labeled as public or private and are numbered consecutively within the Congress in which they were enacted. So the law we see here, Public Law 96-510, is the 510th public law passed by the 95th Congress. It was signed by the President on December 11, 1980. In the upper right-hand corner, we can see its citation in the federal session laws, a set of books called Statutes at Large. This law begins on page 2767 of volume 94 of Statutes at Large. Session laws can still be found in books, both the official Statutes at Large and the unofficial United States Code Congressional and Administrative News, called USCAN, which is considerably more up-to-date than the official Statutes at Large. And also in a number of electronic sources. One I'd like to call your attention to is Hein Online, which has PDF images of Statutes at Large all the way back to Volume 1, which makes them very useful as a substitute for print. Federal session laws are also available in text on Lexis and Westlaw, and sometimes also available through systems in the PDF format. States also have session law compilations for their statutes, although the titles may vary. Here we see the Massachusetts session laws, Acts and Resolves of Massachusetts, and the West Virginia session laws, Acts of the Legislature of West Virginia. The simplest way to figure out the name of a publication for a given jurisdiction is to check Table T1.3 of the Blue Book. Here we can see that the session laws of South Carolina is Acts and Joint Resolutions, and also how to format citations to that. Hein has PDFs of virtually all state session law publications in its Session Laws library. The other form of statutory publication, which is probably the one you are most familiar with because that's the one we use most in legal research, is the Code. A code is a topical arrangement of all the permanent general laws in force. How difficult would it be to find all of the applicable current laws on a given subject if they're just arranged chronologically? Luckily, we don't have to because there are codes. The first one pictured is the official print United States Code. It's published in a new edition every 6 years and updated yearly with interim supplements, and is available online through govinfo.gov, the electronic publishing platform of the Government Publications Office. The second is the United States Code Annotated, published by West and available electronically on Westlaw. The United States Code Service is published by Lexis and available electronically on that platform. The unofficial versions of the code are much more up-to-date than the official edition, even in its electronic form. The other real advantage for research purposes is both USCA and USCS include annotations. This means references to cases that have interpreted particular code sections, references to helpful secondary sources like treatises and law review articles, and more. Let's take a look at the components of the U.S. Code Annotated. State codes and other federal codes will generally have the same elements and follow very similar organizational patterns. Typically, the constitution for the jurisdiction will be first. Then the actual statutes arranged by subject. USCA and USCS contain court rules. USCA places them at the end of the statutes, but USCS places them after related statutes. Court rules for some states can be found in their annotated codes, but many states publish them in other places. In print, the main access point to a code will be an index or a popular name table. There are also tables volumes, which can be very helpful when you're tracking changes to statutes. The U.S. Code is broken into major subdivisions called titles, and there are currently 54 titles in the U.S. Code, but other codes may use different terminology for its major subdivisions. Some states have titles, others like Massachusetts use chapters, and some use articles. States, including California, New York, and Texas, has something called nominative codes, where instead of numbers, the major subdivisions have names, like the Fish and Game Code, or the Environmental Conservation Code, or the Agricultural Conservation Code. Again, your best tool for finding both the names of the statutory codes and deciphering the proper citation formats is Blue Book Table T1.3. So laws are published as enacted in session laws, and they are also published in a topical arrangement called a code. There are 4 basic ways that a newly enacted law can affect a code, and in fact, any given law passed by a legislature might do all of these things. First, it might amend an already existing code section. Second, it might add a brand new code section. Additionally, a new law might repeal an already existing code provision. And finally, a law or part of it may not be permanent and general, and so will have no effect on the code at all. The Office of the Law Revision Council, the agency that maintains the official U.S. Code, are the people who will decide where in the code the new provisions should go based on the subject matter. They run a free website that includes a very usable and up-to-date version of the U.S. Code, as well as a number of very useful research aids.